Hey, Bri, doesn't it suck that the boss is always over our shoulder when we're trying to talk?
Jay, he should be entertained by us. Let's get out of here and finish this conversation.
All right, as long as it's not work-related.
Jay! How's it going?
I am great, buddy. How are you?
I'm good. I want to welcome everyone to the Work-Related Podcast.
Another cheers. We are related by work on Twitter.
Yes, I've been dying to have this beer all week, man.
So I made you even wait a little bit less, because I was a little bit later today. So you didn't dive in before I got here?
No.
Attaboy.
I was going to, but I even put a second beer in the fridge because I was going to open it. But I was like, you know what? Whatever. We'll just wait for the show.
Goddamn! I had a long day. Like it took me longer to get here, and I was like, man, should I put 3 beers in the bag? And I was like, no, I don't need. Like the people don't need to hear me 3 beers deep. They can already hear me fucking 2 shots deep.
Yeah.
And so, but you like sidebar. I know you drank on Thursday or Sunday last week too.
Yeah, I had a glass of wine.
Is it just so last week Friday, Sunday?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's
and
it.
And then just edibles on Friday, Saturday.
All weekend.
You had people over too or something too, right?
No, we were going to, but Sire was sick and shit.
Yeah,
so,
that's right. Sorry.
Yeah, that got canceled.
So you were probably going to drink more on Friday.
I would have, for sure.
And I'm not going to talk about this. And you said earlier that Friday would be your only day. So Sunday just was a slip, or is it going to be when you want now?
To be
hard
honest,
rules.
I don't think there's any hard rules, but to be honest, like on Saturday, I completely didn't even think about drinking at all.
Saturday.
Yeah. So I'm kind of like, I think on Sunday, I was just like there and I was like, it was like some wine left. So I was just like, I'll just drink that for the show.
I get it. You know what? I was going to talk about this later. I don't even know. Hard rules are fucking hard for me to follow.
Oh, yeah?
Like you seem like a hard rules kind of guy.
Yeah.
Like is that a category? Like you can't get a little wavy. You're a little more militant. I think it's because of the dad in you and the boss. We had a huge fucking people missed the pre-show. Too much work related. So we probably spared them too.
Podcast before the podcast.
And just to sum it up, like we've already realized that I hate change. I can't remember the fucking juicy title that I fucking said about change earlier in the pre-pod, but maybe I'll get there. But I realized that you don't realize the change you're doing too. Like, and so making leaders, helping you out on your giant night shift, putting our buddy Booby, who I said, like, can imagine what we talked about him in episode 50, 20, however long we've known this guy, and who you're trying to make him, and you're it's not even it's criticisms and concerns, because you just don't want him to, go a certain way. Yeah. And I realized that as you were talking about, you're raising another kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that comes with hard rules.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't know how you, like, I don't know. Like, it plays with soft and hard rules with the kids.
Yeah. How do you play hard rules with an adult?
True. Like, I don't have any desire to do that. Yeah. But you as so anyway, I put it that you're a leader. I've talked about that before, and you have this tendency, you have this way of you of being a leader. You're growing Booby into a leader, right? And you've realized this in a way, but like without this overview of this, like take a step back and just like you got to take all like some of his negative. Like it's not comes naturally to him. Yeah. So in a way that becomes like power trippy and just related with kids when they get like lippy or they just don't know, you know what I mean? Like the situation, it's easier to discipline your kid. You're like you said, it's like a fuck my kid, my rules, my get out of my house. But now this adult, you know what I mean? Like how does it go? And I feel that being frustrated with it is right, but it's a change that you just aren't aware of.
Yeah.
It's easy to talk about me and my change. Sure, it's just a new welder. Sure, it's just a new way of working. Sure, different shifts, all that shit. You aren't like you're starting to smirk. You like to tell me that, you know what I mean? With knowing I have no recourse. Yeah, I have to just accept change. You're a fool to not accept change. You don't say it in those words, but the smirk says it all. So I'm realizing that you are too. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like you're not like it's not to look at like why I look back at some conversations like fuck I'm whining too much. You're not whining in a way. It's like what do I do? And I realize like. Yeah, like realize it's not on you, all of it. You know, this person that you're not, everybody realizes. If they don't realize how good you've made Booby as a leader, then that's on them. Just like he might be thinking, like overstepping his bounds, like, oh my God, the big boss is going to kill me for this thing. And you're like, way overstep, boy. Yeah. Like, don't even go there. If anything, they'll think of me about that. Yeah. And then and it seems silly to me because you are aware, and it's not to you when you, like, I recognize it's not for you. Like, oh, he's going over my head to talk to my boss about something that they just say to him, well, did you talk to Brian? When they say to him, did you talk to Brian? That reflects bad on him, not you. When they say, hey, Booby came to me, I say, yeah, I've tried not to tell him. I know when I say to you, you recognize that. So we forget how far you've come along with that. But this is what I'm getting with hard rules. I hate hard rules. This is why the change comes with me. And with your drinking, with health, it's very hard for me to get back on this wagon.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like,
it's been a hard week?
Well, no, not that way. To be honest with you, the thing I wrote down, there's a chance. So I exercised every morning this week.
Nice.
I just did one set. I did everything. There's a chance that it makes me a nicer person.
What?
For the rest of the day. Now, I got contradicting, you know what I mean? Like situations that happened because I wasn't great all week.
Yeah.
There were situations at work that I did not handle well with like, and it was just like a structural thing, like the gas. I don't even know how you, like the fuck, all the shit in my area. Like, I don't know how you categorize all that frustration for me, but I lived in it and I wasn't the nicest person, but I stuck to my exercises and I felt good about myself and I did that. And so that part wasn't, I was living the struggle and I was feeling fine. I was almost every time I'm doing it going, how did this ever become easy or something? Like I'm realizing the struggle.
Yeah.
It doesn't make me a nice person right away, but it wakes me up a little bit more. I've been through a little mini struggle. And by the end of the week, by Thursday, after doing it for 4 days in a row, I maybe wrongly, I don't know. I attached it to maybe giving me a good mood.
Does it feel good to do it?
Like how do you mean? Like physically
like
or what?
When you wake up and like I remember we had this conversation at work in the week when you first did it. I think we talked on Tuesday or Wednesday. No, I think it was Tuesday or maybe it was last week. Anyways, you first did it and then you're like, okay, yeah, it was hard for you to get up to do it. How does it feel good to like get up and do it now? Or are you still forcing yourself type of
There's
a
a
thing?
force. I don't know if there'll ever not be a force. It's better than before. What I was asking you, which way fit? The best part about it is the attaboy. The best part is that I did it, that I committed to do it. This is why I'm saying it out loud, like just not as a friend to you, but saying it out loud that I hear back when I like narcissistically listen to myself. The fact is holding myself accountable. Like, that's not even a hard rule.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the hardest rule or the only rule that I might want to try to follow is saying that. And so doing it. So I would have not just let the audience down if I would have said to you now, if you would have just like randomly asked, hey, so did you work out? I think you know me enough. Like, I'm not going to ask him that because if he didn't, then I'm going to make him feel a certain way.
Yeah.
But as a man, like I should answer that question no matter what. So you have a right to ask that. So I didn't want to come to a situation mentally answering that question. No. Mentally ask that because I've fucked around, you know what I mean? I haven't weighed myself since November. I've kind of pussyfooted around this and that, and realizing my peaks and valleys, like getting to fucking Christmas and all that stuff is where I start gaining weight. So I always said like March 5th was my date, how like fucking 2014, 2015. So it came up for this Monday. I had a great weekend. Friends were over, fucking went out to eat twice to fucking on the week. Like I ate shit. Everything was bad. But in my mind, I'm going like, you know what? You're starting. It wasn't even that hard of a thing.
Nice.
But morning came and I'm like, oh, you know what? It's garbage day. It wasn't even full garbage day. It was just recycling day. So I only had 4.
Easy one.
It's the best one. Because like we got a lot of fucking garbage. So I'm fucking garbage day. I got like 7 trips to the fucking curb. On recycling day, I got like 3 or 4 trips to the curb. So I'm like, fuck, bro, come on, you're an old man. You don't have to do this. Recycling is just enough of an exercise. So I did the recycling. I set my alarm. No, I set my alarm for normal time. This is too much information, but I set my alarm for 5:45. And I'm like, fucking, okay, boom, get up, do some pet chores, get my lunch ready, get some fucking pets, do the recycling. And then I'm like, all right, are you going to do this? And say, okay. So I did. I go and I just one set, some push-ups, some fucking 5 different leg lifts, all these, just whatever, basic warm-up fucking things, but it's fucking hard for me. And I do it and I still have time to fucking relax a little bit. You know what I mean? Like I still have some more meditation time, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
My heart is pumping. My attaboy is out of the fucking roof.
Of course.
And so my day was informed from that. Like I felt good. I come home and I do it, like more exercises. I do the bike and I'm feeling pretty good about myself for most of the, like, for the whole week, whatever. So I get to Wednesday. Wednesday is when I weigh myself. So I'm like, are you going to weigh yourself today, buddy? And it's been a long time. My fit, everything's, I'm like, fucking yes. Like I have to. So I weighed myself, and so I'm 240 right
Mhm.
now. You talked about a picture that it was on your other show, and you were saying you remember the employee of the month picture of me,
Yeah.
like the flyer would see that. That's me at my peak. Like it hurts me differently. You saw a picture that you thought your face was too chubby. I saw me at like 200.
Yeah.
Like that was me at ideally big smile on my face. That's me who I probably even want to be less, but you know what I mean? Like that was me living the dream. My parents weren't sick yet. Everything
Yeah.
was fucking on fire.
Yeah.
And I saw that way before. This was months ago, like a month ago, whenever I found that thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm not that anymore, right? Like I've talked about the ring and all that. So I realized I'm two things. So I'm saying the 240 out loud because I want to treat it like I saw it in 2014. I want to see it like I couldn't wear a size 44 pants. I had to go to a different store.
Mhm.
Like I felt that way. I've talked about it, and it's like I don't want to feel that same way. Like how I can't even put myself in that mindset because I was so dedicated to not be that person.
Mhm.
And so I weighed myself. I saw the number. I felt a certain way. I realized that I was the fact I haven't weighed myself since November is because. And I've been on pretty good since January, but no hard rules.
Yeah.
Is like I wonder what that number was. I'm glad I didn't see that number, right? Like because my ring is a little bit looser. You know what I mean? Like when I've changed, like everything is better than it would have been in February 1st.
Okay, I was gonna ask that. I was gonna be like, do you think the number would have been worse before
Yes.
or better?
No, because I've been decent enough.
Yeah.
I didn't want to start weighing myself without actually getting some routine.
Mhm.
The fact I saw the number now and I did the morning exercises before I started the number. Like this is me starting again. This is me giving myself some hard rules. Like I don't know, maybe I should change my hard rules and weigh myself every day. The exercise part is I'm not saying lockdown, but for me, I got locked down. I realize what I want to do. I exercise today, for fuck's sakes.
Holy.
Like, your buddy Daryl doesn't realize how much he helps me. I told you this at work.
Yeah.
Like he compares himself to Goggins.
Yeah.
Like he looks, you know, like I don't see anything wrong with Daryl, and I see, but I realize his struggles. I don't think it's not real, but his struggles mean more to me than Goggins' struggles.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's just out of reach. It's not, I can never be Goggins, but I can be Daryl.
Yeah.
Right? Like I can fuck up and eat Burger King next week, no problem.
Yeah,
Like I need to
yeah.
hear that. Like it just, whatever. It resonates more because he's a real person to me.
Yeah.
And so hearing it, he wouldn't be the type of person that like he would be more encouraging. Like, you know what I mean? Like just start. Like what can you do about it? Like he gets up at 4 a.m. So if I tell him I don't want to get up in the morning, he'd be like, I don't understand. We have to stop talking.
Yeah.
He wouldn't want to finish talking if I wasn't willing to get up 5 minutes earlier to do some more fucking push-ups.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know if it was because I've been in that same mindset. So on Tuesday, I set my alarm for 8 minutes earlier. And so you know what? Now I get even all my rest time after I do my set.
Okay.
And it sucks. I'm sweating a little bit.
Yeah.
Just for like the attaboy is the best. I feel physically worn down. Like I'm not better yet. I'm not better yet. So anyway, I saw the 240 and I hated it. I hated myself for it. When I first started doing it and I was like 310 and I was like, I can't be 310 at 50. Like it was like
Yeah.
44, 45.
Yeah.
I looked at the fucking calendar. Like there's like, you know, like you can't be that fat and old. Like you really can't. And it's a long game thing. So that's got me on that long game that we talked about before. Like, how do you do that? So this is my hard rule. This is why I put on there. Like, so I'm 53 and a half. I hate that, but I'll be 54 sometime this year. I want to be back to 200 by 55. That's a long game. Like I don't really.
That is a long
There's
game.
a shorter game,
But that's
like,
very obtainable.
I want to be 220 by the start of football. That's a shorter hard rule. I don't know if I
That's
can actually do that.
obtainable. That's
That is attainable
for
as well,
sure.
right? But more of a life goal, more of a thing, is that like giving myself that time. So that allows me to go to lunch with my dad today and have a French onion soup. And I had a French onion soup. I didn't have the worst thing I could have, but I knew like when I was at my best, I tried to get the best thing I could have at a restaurant.
Yeah.
Then I got into a thing like, well, I'm paying for this. I'm fucking having fries and gravy. And I could because I was like 205. You know, I was riding that good train.
Yeah.
And then this is what happens. So it's so easy to put it on. You talked about before, you get older, dude. So I saw the number. I did it. I realized I get like a positive, happier energy out of it. I think I was so much happier on Thursday because I tend to be that anyway. But because of my exercise situation, tweak it up a little bit. You know what? Listening to Daryl, like because of my hip and all that, I can't do the fucking treadmill like I did before.
Yeah.
I know it sounds like an excuse, and it's what the excuse I'm using, but I have it on the bike, and it's harder to get a a cardio burn on the bike than the treadmill. Like I would be soaked with sweat on the treadmill.
Yeah.
And so I'm just
The bike,
learning.
you really got to push.
I'm just learning how to get a good sweat on with the bike.
Yeah.
And it just takes more time and dedication. And so I'm willing to, so it's hard. So I'm saying it out loud to put it out. I'm not going to call my weight every
Nice.
time. I'm not going to say it, but I might say milestones.
Yeah.
I might say what I make at the beginning of, so this is my declaration. So 240.55. If we're still doing this on my 55th birthday and whatever, then you call me out if I'm not 200 by then. Right?
Okay, nice.
But my soft landing is I'm trying to be 220 by like Labor Day.
Yeah.
The week after Labor Day.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
That's good.
But
That's good.
do you recognize how hard it is? Like, I know it's easy, but like it's hard for me to put myself in the mindset of doing it.
Of course, I know how hard it is. It's like it's always hard to get started, especially with working out. Like I went on like years of not doing it just because I just couldn't get myself in the mindset of doing it. It's just so hard. But now I feel like even though I've somewhat slacked off, like my workouts are every other day now, right? And as opposed to I was doing 6 days a week just like a month ago, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, the only way I get my mindset back in is what's gonna happen if you just don't do it?
Is that your main motivator?
Yes.
Well, no, I think I'm
Well, that's one of them. I don't
yeah,
know about
like
main.
not main. Now I think it sounds like your main motivator might change sometimes. Like, because you were on a hard binge. Like you talked last week about you weren't measuring your food anymore.
Yeah.
And you weren't doing like, however you've changed your schedule a bit. Not because it was too hard, but like you reached certain goals in a way. Like, I don't know, right?
Like I reached certain weight goals that became uncontrollable. I guess this is my control freak. Like now I can't control that I weighed myself today. I'm at 180. I don't want to be 180. I want to be like 185, 190, like somewhere in there. But now I just because I've taken the mindset out of eating bad, and because our job is so physical, that's just like it just seems like it's out of my hands right now.
So I get frustrated that I still do all that physical work and I'm still ends up going to 240.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I do think it's a great mindset to take that out of the equation. Right? Like our boss is a big math guy. You take that physicalness and whatever those numbers are, if you're in a walking contest with the office people at work, maybe that's how you get your advantage. But it really isn't going to help you get to 185.
Yeah.
I recognize when you say it like that and hearing me whine about my struggles, that's why you have to weigh your food. You're not weighing your food to reduce your calories. You reduce your calories for fat. Like you're dealing with proteins and fat and muscle building, which is a whole different you know what I mean? Like fucking, like it's the whole different fucking sphere of living than I can with my diet ways. So I recognize the frustration and I see that, but also, yeah, I appreciate. Like I said, it's a struggle. It's just like seeing it as a struggle. I don't, but I just don't know. I don't know if it's just a snap of the finger. Like I don't know what that catalyst is to get me out of like the hard rules.
Yeah.
Right. Like adding those hard rules. Like I vision myself, but I don't want to live in it. I just want to live in the attaboys and the trying and not failing myself.
Yeah.
Like I almost failed. Like I wouldn't have failed myself this morning if I didn't do it, but it's a new plan. It's attainable. And the future self, this is what we talked like last week and way before, because all the time, it's just like, I forgot that conversation. I've not listened, you know what I mean? Like I've lived too much in the like for me, for not like having hard rules or even like medium rules for diets or exercise is me not considering the future self at all. And it's I think it's me getting caught up in too much of the daily bullshit. Like it's easy, like it's not your purpose to tell me all the shit in a way like what you're dealing with at work, me realizing the change I have going on with work. And you know what I mean? Like it's just life.
Yeah.
Right? It's not worth complaining. It's worth talking about, but it's not worth whining about. And the better person just like, I don't know, like accepts it more. So accepting that like this is whatever part of my, you know what I mean, like way is like exercising more, and the food part, like I said, is really hard.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
and
for sure.
it. But like I said, you can't always beat yourself up or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's how I thought.
Well, that's good that you did all week. That's
Thanks,
really
man.
good, man.
I did better. like I put a couple extra reps in certain things. Like I feel a little stronger.
Yeah.
I do feel a little better. It's retarded that I fucking worked out. I did it once and I went on the bike this morning and I'm exhausted. Like I'd like to say to you that it made me, and I was almost feeling good all day. I was feeling good, but I road raged. I was driving and I wasn't the best version of myself on the road. I mean, I can admit that. So it's not a fucking perfect antidote.
Yeah.
But that's why I realized it's life. Like to think it's going to go smoothly.
Yeah, right.
Like all of it. Like, you know, like I said, like raising the kids, like all of the fucking things. Like it's so fun. Like I said, like I love watching you road rage. This is a pivot before we pivot. I was on a YouTube rabbit hole and what the fuck? Well, no, it wasn't even YouTube. It was just TV. It was like Sports Center's 50th, like 50 best whatevers. And it was 50th or 50 coaches freaking out.
Yeah.
Right? Like showing fucking hockey coaches throwing water bottles on the thing. You know? Tell me you realize what this is. The funniest thing in the world is watching a baseball coach freak out on an umpire.
Yeah, I love it.
Like they fucking throw dirt on their feet.
Yeah, they do all this weird shit.
They fucking steal a base. He rips the base out of the fuck. Have you ever seen this? You must have seen
that
one. Who do you think you are?
Oh my god, it's so funny.
Isn't that fucking classic?
Yeah,
like it's the gayest thing it's like Broadway fucking plays.
It's like, how angry can you be without being violent against the person?
Well, they know it's a thing. Yeah,
out.
I guess. Yeah, you want to fight, but you can't fight.
You can, so rip
you
the base out.
But no, but like you're so righteous, and you want to pause the game. You want to get your point across so fucking much. Stealing the base is ultimately the most funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. I was watching that going, I've seen this my whole life. How the fuck did I not like categorize this? It's so fucking funny.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, I realized that. That's fucking funny. So see, everybody's got their problems.
For sure.
I don't want to jump on a bunch of other things. I want to finish this shit before because we talked a lot of work shit before we started.
Yep.
But you wrote it on here, so you have to talk about here. You had your first write-ups.
Yes, I did.
So what's up with that?
So let me see. How do I start this? Freaking.
And I apologize if you don't want to talk about it anymore, but you shouldn't have wrote it.
I'm just trying to think about like
how far
back
you don't have to get
go.
Personal about it, but like you feel a certain way about it.
It's okay. So it's not something I would write people up for personally, even though I had to do it. It's not something that I really care about.
So is it because you've made like a Booby? I'm sorry, putting the names out there. You've made Booby a lead hand.
Yeah.
So did he ask you to write somebody up for something?
Yeah. So let me preface this by saying Booby always asks me to write people up. Like he's so impulsive and emotional that like everything sets him off. Write them up. And I filter it. I was like, no, that's stupid. Like I'm not writing somebody up for that shit. And so he's been doing this thing lately where he gets so emotional that he's somewhat challenging me in front of people to write other people up. And I've told him, I said, if you want to talk to me about lead hand supervisor stuff, you talk to me in private. You don't freaking talk to me in front of people like that because he's not going to like it if I get back at him. If I embarrass him in front of people, he's not going to like
than yours.
it. Honestly,
right.
I really think I could hurt his feelings. You know what I mean? So he did that one time. He said, okay. And he did it again. But at this point, there's been so much stuff going on with him getting disrespected by the people. Like they don't really respect him on the floor, shop floor, right? They feel like they can argue with him. They feel like they can say certain things to him that when he said it to me, I kind of had to think about it and be like, is this my moment where I can kind of get these guys in line type of a thing? So these guys were coming in, they were coming into work, they were punching in, they were going into the washroom, and they were coming out like 10 to 12 minutes after their shift started. Right? And like most people don't do that. You know what I mean? Like you're not supposed to do that. You don't do that.
That's taking advantage of the situation.
Now, if they've done it a couple times. If they did it every day, that's something I would somewhat address, right? But it's not something they did it like maybe like 4 or 5 times in the past like 6 months, right? Maybe a little more than that. But you could start to get closer together recently. So it's something I'm just going to be like, okay, he has a point, and they all heard him. Like 2 people heard him, so they can actually realize that maybe Booby does have some sort of like sway or whatnot, because he can't technically write anybody. He can't do it. And am I just going to nip this in the bud anyways? You know, so it just doesn't get out of hand. So I said, okay, fine. I said, this time I'll do it. So we wrote 3 guys up for not coming in at the big. It just ended up being, it's a verbal warning. I went to Mo on my own and I said, I need to write 3 guys up. He's like, what happened? I told him. And then I said, but I would just like, let's make this like something light, like a little verbal warning type of a shit. Nothing too crazy. He's like, yeah. And then I was telling him how, yeah, like Booby really has an issue with this. And he's like, I've been hearing things. I guess people are talking that they don't really respect him. I said,
Wow.
that's part of it because like, at least now they can understand that like when he says something, like something could potentially happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it sounds like it could. It's well timed.
Yeah. So we did that. And there was I asked like, it was only supposed to be me, Ryan, and Mo, and then the 3 guys in the room. And I said, Booby, come sit in on this. So like, you know, let him come sit in on it and whatever. So yeah, so that's what happened. We wrote these guys up and Booby sat in on it and whatever.
So is it got? Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, so did it work? Like, do you think it had the effect? So was this at the beginning of the week? Was it last week?
This was yesterday. So this was the
Oh,
end
yeah,
of the
so you don't
week.
know.
So it was the beginning of the shift yesterday and they were disgruntled about it, right? They had some pushback against him. Like they, one of them told me that he's like, so Booby always tells me to respect the chain of command. Ironically, for what we talked about before this episode, Booby always tells me to respect the chain of command. So if I have an issue, who do I go to, Booby or me? To Booby or Brian?
Yeah.
I said you can go to either of us, right? Like obviously, I said there's only so much he can do, but if he brings it to me, then I'll deal with it. It's like whatever. And then he's like, well, Booby gets jealous if we just go to you.
So that's the chain of command that it goes everywhere. Like this is without just dipping into what we talked about before, and it's not that big of a secret, but it was just, it was just a work. You know, we were just talking. Trust me, we talk even more than you people who have to hear.
Yeah.
And and so I realized that like I saw a situation that if you broke the chain of command and just helped Booby out in a way of helping everybody set up, which is Booby's job, and he like does that not for respect or that's what you want him to do and that's what he should be able to do. I said that my like Ali does that for Marcel, for me, for sometimes, and so everything's not a cookie cutter situation. So you saw something that could have been done without getting into all the other things that you had going on.
Yeah.
You could have helped set up this employee instead of waiting for Booby to do.
Yeah.
And then, you know what I mean? But I don't know in the long run if that's not detrimental to the cause, instead of just like, hey man, we took this long for you to do your job, and getting him to do his job, like, you know, how you want him to do. So you hate when, and then not just that situation. Sorry, that was if Booby gets on his high horse and feels that he's higher up on that chain of command that you know that he is. Mm-hmm. What do you do about it? So you've installed that in him. You don't want him to do that to you, so he doesn't want the guys lower than him to do it to you. The most ignorant thing I'll say, well, maybe second most ignorant thing I'll say today is like, we've talked about the culture they come from. And so it's like this class society.
For sure.
And so comes from a higher class of people. He treats people like he's, you know, like with a finger curl and all that kind of thing. So I think he needs that. I think it's not archaic. It's not like, it's not a different thing. It's just like, it's more established in that culture.
Yeah.
I think that like there better be a leader. If there is no leader, then we're all just going to have chaos, and we're fucking 8 billion strong. You know what I mean? Like we can't have chaos. So they challenge him on it. You know what I mean? Like I do agree with you to say to this guy, yeah, you can come to me or him, but aren't you better off to say, just go to him?
Yeah, I am. And the general consensus of the shift is go to Booby before they go to me.
Right? Have that be the optional
for the help for helping like
or option number one.
Things. He is option number one, right? And like they literally come to me on a regular basis and they go, "Oh, where's Booby?" Or they do the boob thing. I either say I don't know or he's over there. Like they literally like they do for the most part respect it. But
yeah, I would have sensed that, but not.
But I know that, like I said, there's only so much Booby can do, and on top of that, there's only so much he knows because he didn't have the job variety that I had when I was welding, right?
Yep.
So a lot of what he does is a guess.
You know what? Yeah, that's true. I don't know about that. You've stumped me. That's a bigger problem than I think I've never even thought of before.
he does
Because-
somewhat work his way through some of the things, but he just there's,
So that is a growth problem.
yes,
That is a not training people right problem.
And at this point, you can't fix that because what are we gonna do? Start putting him back on bodies?
You know what though? But like a year from now, we might have a conversation. Like, you remember how hard it was when we didn't have a proper fucking training fucking part in place?
Yeah.
Remember how this and that? Like, remember when we weren't shadowing anybody?
Yeah.
Like, we've lost the fish, I dodged that bullet. You know, like we had this fucking situation. But like I said on, I think it was not on air, that I thought you might have fucking slipped a little conversation to our boss saying, hey, you have these conversations with Jay, try to make him more engaged, like give him more of your like in-depth knowledge of whatever's going on. And my boss was really nice to me today.
The thing is, it's not that I don't think I have never had overt conversations like that, but I do, I throw little hints there. Yeah, sure. Jay's like, yeah, no, you know what Jay did? He did this and this. And so I think our boss is smart enough to recognize certain things in people. I think that's one of his good qualities. He can recognize certain things in certain people, and he has recognized certain things in me and in Bhupinder, for example.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
A lot of other people in the shop that I think he knows how to pick up on. So I think he's picked up on that. But me and Booby had a conversation about you yesterday.
This is maybe. Well, how come this wasn't off air? I don't know. I'm not even playing. What the fuck are you going to tell me?
So we were talking about the guys on our shift and how they don't want to change or they don't want to learn. This was a conversation about change, and they were talking about that. And then Booby goes like, you know what? And you've already told me this conversation before he told me, but he's like, Jay came to me and he was like, he was apologetic about like whatever, all that stuff. I can't remember the situation. Can you explain
So
it?
I have my like a stand where I permanently have together. Like I have like it's like a bench. It's something work horses that I build most of the shit on. Whatever. It's mine. I've pretend to have ownership of this like material. Like it's just like a huge workbench.
Yeah.
And most people have to temporarily kind of build theirs.
Yeah.
But the corner of the work that I've had, I just get to keep mine together. Because I'm just going to build another one. And just to jump into, so you finish the story, but so it was a couple weeks ago. The place is so crazy. All the other just standard horses are done, and no one would really help out because I'm working late because they know I can't work Friday, and they have this thing. It's like, hey, you're not using your stand right now. Well, no, technically I'm not. Yeah, can we take it? We want to build something. And my first reaction was, God damn, stop touching my stuff. But I also know that you can't. So I'm like, yeah. And I was sour about it. I wasn't like, you fucking clown. I didn't do anything as like over the top that you might think I might want to do, but in my head, I was like raging, like for unnecessarily. And I let it go, and I realized it go. And in the moment, I knew it, and I knew I just put a sour puss on. So I've been impressed with your buddy Booby and doing all these things, and I recognize from our conversations, like just letting go of nonsense ownership. There's lots of ownership to be had, but you don't have to have that. And so and I realized I thought of it more and more, and I just made sure that I knew that he would appreciate it. I thought it, so I was good enough for me. Just like doing the push-ups in the morning, you get an extra attaboy for doing it instead of just thinking about it.
For sure.
So go ahead and do this for Booby. Let him know that he did nothing wrong. He's nervous enough to go ask you for something. He doesn't have to be. You know what will help? Just recognize. And so I talked to him, and it's like in that short way, I said that to him. I go, you know what? I appreciate what you're doing here. And if you ever need to use anything over here, I like how you ask. So I am sorry if I came across cross. And he was like, no. And that was it. So that was days before you had your conversation with him.
That was way before. And he said like, he brought it as an example, saying that some guys just don't have that. He's like, Johnny and Tariq won't have that in them.
Yeah.
He's like, but Jay has that. He's like, it takes something to be able to recognize certain things and to be able to change or to get to the situation. He's like, people on our shift doesn't have that shit. They're fucked up. They're fucked up. So, and I was like, yeah, I said like he held Vishu, right? And I said he's like been wrapping up his machine before we switched to the new ones. Like he was like, we're wrapping up the machine. So in case he's like, yeah, I saw. So yeah, he had a little
I need
he had
that.
a little
I
man
like to
crush
hear
on
that.
you. He had a little man crush on you.
That's fine. Like, he told you he loves you. He told me he loves me. He's fine. He's a weird little guy.
He's a weird guy.
I knew that too. I also actually gave another guy. I don't even know how to explain this part. There's two things I got to say, and I didn't think I was going to do it. It's so work related. The youngest guy, I don't know who he is, but one of the youngest guys.
The white guy?
No. They're brown. I have no issue. I have nothing to say about your white guy.
He's the short guy.
The short guy, he's got a wispy beard, but shortish guy.
Yep.
And he looks young. It was like 5:45, and I'd finished. It was probably Wednesday, right? Like yesterday, I finished. Everything was epic, but I finished a little bit, and I was washing up, and when I came back, he was taking my machine.
Yeah.
And he looked. It's like I caught stealing, right? Like he was, and I'm like, "Fuck." He goes, "What time are you here?" And my instinct was to own it. Yeah. My instinct was like, "Fuck, I'm here till 6, bro." Like, you just can't wait for me to fucking go. But then as I said it, I'm here till 6, and I realized, like, but you're not using it. You're going home. Yeah. Like, does this kid need to see you mean mug him? Or what would happen if you said, "Hey, man, I'm just joking. Go ahead and take it." So I said, I'm fucking kidding with it. Fucking, he's like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, he wasn't like bowing, but he's like, and that goes a long way. For sure. Right? Like, I need to do that. But the instinct, just like not do it's fucking fuck you. Yeah. For no other reason than to own it. Yeah. Like, I don't know why I would have that. So I'm recognizing that. I've actually said that you slip in with our boss here and there. So I don't have the same opportunities, but I did today or this week with talk with Ryan, and we were talking about the change and everything and the curry of all this. And he recognizes this in me. Like, they said, he knows people. And he trying to pump me up in ways, senior welders, junior welders, all this conversation that I'm not supposed to know, but and all that. And I said, in a way, I don't know how to start it or whatever, but I was just like trying to describe how good of a leader you are. Like, thanks, Jay. Well, because not trying to give away our secrets, but just try to say in a way that, like, in helping other people. Because we were talking in one of the part of our conversation got to like shadowing in a way, right? And this and that. And I was like, yeah, sometimes for me, it takes a good leader like Brian to come along and show you how you're getting in your own way, to show you the common senseness of it. I don't know exactly the whole conversations, but I attributed you to any kind of positive look that I have to you having an influence of it. Thanks. No problem. I appreciate that. It's true though. So anyway, fuck that. You're already talking about too much of these people that you're treating like your kids. You have to grow up. Yep. You wrote it on there. What's up with the TFC? The TFC and the kids. Yes, so I'm taking the kids to their first freaking soccer game. When is this happening? Tomorrow. You got the tickets tomorrow? Yeah, we got the tickets already. Fucking cold out there, bro. It's supposed to be decently. I think it's supposed to rain and snow. It's supposed to be decently nice, but it's the only day in the next. From Monday, it was like 7-10 days. We looked at the forecast. It's the only day it's raining. 100% rain, 90% chance from like 6 a.m. to like 9 p.m. Like it's literally the worst day to go. But I mean, it's covered, but like they're not gonna play that great. It's not gonna be the vibe that you really fully want. You know what I mean? Shit. Do you so you have regrets about that? Like, is this a better way to bring the kids in? I wish it was just nicer. I just wish it was just like a nicer day. But they'll play in the summer too. They will. What if they do? What if they behave themselves? Will you take them to another one? Or is this the okay? You're a planning guy. Is this the only game you're planning on taking them to? It depends on how they react to it. Does this have anything to do with how they acted at the car show? Because that was the first time, like, all of a sudden you're taking the kids everywhere. What's going on? Yeah. So Kai's been asking to go to a soccer game since last year. He said, hey, I get it. He's like, he asked me out of the blue, can you take me to a soccer game? I said, okay, fine. You behave yourself. I'll take you to a soccer game one day. It's last year, last year. Interesting. So I said to Selena, I said, okay, I want to take the Kai to a soccer game. It was just going to be me and him. Oh. And then, so like, days went by, like, so the days went by, like, I was looking at games and they're all like 7 p.m. on a Wednesday, and like soccer schedules are kind of weird. Yeah, you know what I mean? And then I said, well, maybe I'll go to a Messi game because Messi came to the MLS, right? Well, goddamn. You don't make that kind of money. Right? Exactly. Like, that shit's expensive. Like, it's like three times. Each team jacks up the price. Oh, yeah. Fuck. So I still would have done it, but it's just been a little worse seats, of course.
So
I get
that year went by. Kai really wasn't behaving himself, so he went by. And so Selena said to me like a couple months ago that Kai went to her and said, "Daddy said he was going to take me to the soccer game. He still didn't do it." So I said,
shit.
"Fuck!" So I have to do it. Like, you know what I mean? So we were just talking, and she's like, "Okay, we can just do this soccer game." We just picked a random one. It was perfect on a Saturday at like I think it's like 11. Like it's like our perfect.
You love that.
Oh man, it's like our perfect time frame. Like what we want to do and be
11?
back home.
What the
So
fuck?
it's great. So it all lined up. It's like the only game that's early. I know, right? I don't know if it's 11 or like it's in the afternoon. It's not in the afternoon. In the
I don't know
evening.
how it doesn't start before or like 1. It's got to be 1.
Yeah, I think it's like 11.
You're gonna miss the
12,
race.
1. No, am I?
Yeah, there's a race tomorrow.
I'm not missing that.
It's tomorrow's at 10.
It's raining, Jake. It's raining.
Brian's gonna be
Fuck
watching
that.
the race on his
Fuck
phone
that.
in the middle of the rain in the fucking BMO
Well,
field.
we're taking the train down, so maybe I'll watch
Oh,
it
you
on
love the
on
fucking
thing.
train.
It's like a 2-minute walk from the train station. We were
Yep.
considering driving because of the rain, but whatever.
It's
Like,
not a 2-minute drive to the train station from here.
No, it's a long
It's a
drive.
fucking long way to get to the train
10,
station from here.
15-minute drive, right?
Oh fuck!
So we're taking all the boys. We have pretty good seats, pretty decent seats.
Oh my
It's
god,
like,
this is great.
It's like Laura Bowl, like it's like maybe like 15 rows from the field. I
oh
think
my
we're
god,
center too.
that's great.
Yeah, so it's really good. So we're gonna go do that, and hopefully they don't know. We never tell the kids anything till the day of.
They
That's
have
how we
no
do.
idea.
They have no idea.
Are you fucking? I think I might
Yeah.
have almost blew it when I was
Oh,
fucking.
really?
No. I was just fucking around with the kids. I was
Yeah.
like, but I would have just said that.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for me scaring the baby downstairs, I probably would have been down there longer. And I would have said, "Are you going to be excited for the soccer?"
Yeah.
Holy shit! Can you imagine being a 6-year-old going to a soccer game? Like it's impossible for me
I know.
to imagine how big everything's going to seem.
And the BMO Fields gets packed.
Oh, they're rabid fans.
Oh, yeah.
They're gonna be. That's what I'm saying. They're gonna be rowdy South Americans throwing fucking flares and toilet paper
Yeah,
at people in
man.
the corner. So this is my saying. So, I see a situation. Not because you're a curmudgeon. Maybe that'll be the only thing you don't do it. Is that if everything went well at the car show? That's why everything goes good at the TFC game in
Yeah.
March.
Yeah.
What happens if we go like in July? You know what I mean? Like when we're supposed to. Like, will this
Well-
raise the chance to go again?
Well, they're supposed to host the World Cup in like 2026, I think.
Well, that'd be harder to get than TFC tickets, don't you think?
Not if you do it early enough, though.
No, I bet you those. So I
World Cup tickets, man. That's what they would. So I was watching.
they would appreciate. Yeah.
Oh, they would. I was watching the qualifying of F1 today, and their soccer player, Ibra, I can't pronounce his name.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
But like, I know the kids know this guy, so I'm watching the qualifying. They show him, and I call the kids over, and his name's not on the screen anymore, and they come over like. They're saying his name. They're like, "Oh my god!" And they're so excited. I'm like, "This guy is like they literally
Yeah.
are really. They play FIFA all the time.
True.
So
Fuck, you're
they-
right.
they
No, you're right. No,
literally
that's a
know.
discount. They probably know FIFA better than TFC.
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
They're not gonna know anybody.
No, they're not going to anybody.
Yeah.
That'll be weird. I can't take it away. They know the TFC is a thing, though.
They
Or
know
no, do
TFC is a thing.
do
They
they?
know
But not like
Messi's
World
in
Cup.
MLS.
Yeah,
they
it's too
they
much.
understand the different leagues. So like when they're going like
Oh,
Sai will be like, Kai, where do I find Ronaldo, and it'll be FIFA 24 or
And he tells you
23,
go to
whatever
fucking
year, and he'll
Portugal.
be like, it's in this league. You know what I mean? So
great.
they know the leagues.
So he knows
and
almost
whatnot.
everything because of Kai. Kai really
Yeah.
fucking teaches him how to.
He teaches them. They watch a lot of like soccer videos, like FIFA videos and stuff.
That's
So,
great.
yeah,
oh my
they're, like,
god,
really
I'm
into
fucking
it.
living vicariously through this whole situation.
I hope they're super excited about it.
Bro, this has to be the best part of having your fucking kids.
This is the only good part of having kids is to do things like this.
You have to enjoy this.
Yeah,
Like you have to. You've
I kinda do.
You've trained them to be so well behaved, so I don't know if you have to worry about that shit when you take them out in public. Probably not, right?
Kai more so you have to worry about than Sire.
Getting
but-
overexcited or type of thing.
Yeah.
I hope they're
but,
so good that you. So is it World Cup this year?
2026.
Oh fuck me. So you're way ahead. So fuck
Yeah.
that. So you wouldn't take them to a summer game.
No.
Why?
Nah.
What if? Because it'd be a better experience for the whole family.
The season ends in like June, I think.
No, it
Yeah.
fucking goes all the way,
And
man.
then it starts off like they take like a big massive break. It starts off like close to fall.
They play
Or is
while
it the other
X
way
is on.
around?
They play in the C. They play while the CNE is
it
on.
starts off close to fall.
Yeah, but so they play past September and October. They play in October.
Yeah, they play in like.
So you can see them all summer. Oh, you think they take a break in the summer?
They take a break in the summer. I'm pretty sure because I remember when I was looking, there was no
Fucking
games.
pansy soccer
I
player.
know, right? Like who was like, what the fuck? Anyways, but
Good for you, man.
But we've already taken Kai to an Argonauts game.
When?
A long time ago. Maybe like he was probably like 4.
So I love
It
football.
was actually a playoff game.
Why did you go to the Argonaut game?
So Daryl, his girlfriend, knows somebody who knows one of the players, and they constantly go. They have like season ticket,
Oh, no
really
way.
good seats. So we went to it was literally like 2 rows, right? So that's the first time I went to BMO Fields. And the game was good, but it was just fucking cold, so it wasn't that enjoyable.
That's what I'm
was sitting
saying.
there like this, and like.
That's why I think the experience would be so much. So anyway, I think the Rowdies would come out in the summer.
Yes.
Like I'm not sure, but they so they used to be good. Like they won the cup of like TFC is used to be good. Not
they
the
used
Argo.
to
Fuck
be
the Argo.
good.
So as much as I love football, that I have zero respect for the CFL or the Argos.
Why?
It's just second class football.
Did you hear what Chad Ochocinco said about the CFL?
No,
There was this interview about him, and he's like, you know who that is, right? No, I'm just fucking with you.
I know. I have his jersey, motherfucker.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I knew him when he was still a football player, not a fucking
Not a
celebrity
thing.
now. I do have his jersey.
I knew
I'll rock it
him
for
when his
next
name was
episode.
Johnson. I knew him when he changed his name. I was like, Ochocinco. I was like, this guy's not serious.
Bro, you don't know anything. I know you know a lot, and you probably know a lot more about me. But anyway, sorry, I'm going to divert.
That's when I was more into football,
That's
but I
fine.
wasn't like deep into football.
No, I know.
So he was talking about he played in that CFL.
Yes.
And he was talking about how he's like, those boys can ball. He's like,
Yep.
people think it's not like it's easy. He's like, it's not easy up there. He's like, those are like actual like footballers. And he was like wondering, like, he said that when he was going there, he's like, this is gonna be easy. I'm gonna run all over these Canadians and all this shit. And he was like, no, it's not even like that.
No, I know it has the respect. It just, like I said, I've talked about before, it just doesn't have the fucking hype machine behind it.
Yeah.
It's football's best thing that it does is just plays every Sunday, all the games at one
Yeah.
time. Like it's
Yeah.
just more organized. It's less chaos, and it just doesn't have. It
doesn't have the shine and shimmer.
You've nailed it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that. But I respect them as athletes and players. I just don't care. There's just not as much of importance to it.
I agree. We're planning to go to Deerhurst again this year.
Nice.
We were going with Selena's parents, and they were planning to go to like a day, and I'm like, oh, this day, and they're like, no, we can't go that day. The Tiger Cats are playing, and I'm thinking like, what the fuck?
So
Like,
those
who
people are
cares?
crazy.
Who cares about the fucking Tiger?
Those
Club?
fucking Hamilton fucking. This is a side segue that I never thought we were going to get into. People from Hamilton are different.
Yeah.
Like fucking. So I was in Hamilton last week. I went
Yeah.
and seen Jesselnick in Hamilton, and it was everything I wanted it to be. It was fucking great. Although I get lost so easy when I go to that fucking city. It's weird. It's
Oh,
fucking
yeah?
tiny, like fucking like 500,000 people, not even, but all the one-way streets. The venue wasn't exactly where it was supposed to be, and we parked there, so we walked around a little bit, and we went in. The show was everything I wanted it to be. Everything was fucking classic. The Friends fucking company, the time was good. I've been in sketchy areas, in Tampa, fucking whatever, fucking Toronto, all kinds, right?
Nothing compares to Hamilton.
Hamilton is
Hamilton's up there.
Hamilton is up there. No, I've seen like parts of other places that I know Hamilton because I know it a little bit. I get it's just a little dirty looking. You know what I mean? It's not.
Yeah.
You can't be scared. But I would be terrified in the Hamilton parts of New York, or you know what I mean, or other things like that. And like I said, just random like Tampa. Like Tampa, all of a sudden gets fucking sketchy. You know, like whatever, Fort Lauderdale. Like fucking, you're all of a sudden you're like fucking. How many? There's so many fucking police and security guards in this Walmart. Like it's fucking. We're talking like 15 years ago too, so I can't imagine. And so we're walking back to our car. So the show was great, everything good. We're walking back to our car, and there was this random fucking street person, whatever, just like in the shadows. And he wasn't directing it to us. He might have just been doing nothing, but we walked by getting back to our car, and we parked like further than we but it was good parking, whatever. So enough time to smoke a joint. We're walking back to like this Joker-esque laugh.
Yeah.
Like this most, you know what I mean? Like sinister, like fucking laugh. We're like, and our friends who are from Ottawa, like, you know, he's my friend's been, brought him into sketchy situations. He's brought me into sketchy situations.
Oh,
and
yeah.
we're just
Ottawa's not beautiful.
No, that either. But no, even before that, we're talking a lifetime of fucking sketchy. And his wife was just like, I don't like this place too much. And it was just like, yeah, Hamilton's got that edge to it.
It does. As you know, I lived in Hamilton
Yes,
for like
I do.
a year, and I have some very sketchy stories about
Downtown?
Hamilton. So we lived off the mountain, but we were like right by the Red Hill.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like really downtown. But when I started working at Skyjack, my first welding job, I had to bus from Hamilton. So I had to take the bus all the way to the GO station, which was downtown, right? Jump on the GO train, go to Mississauga, and then not the GO train, the GO bus, and jump on another GO bus and go to Guelph.
What?
Right? It was like a 3-hour commute. It was horrible.
Holy
but, you know, I
shit,
did it every
bro.
day, right? So every time I would go on the bus, like the city bus, I always saw this freaking sketchy ass lady all the time. And like, I was just, every time I go on the bus and I see her, I'm like, fuck, oh my God. So like a couple times she's just like really annoying. One time she was like, trying to play with my head, my cap and stuff. And I'm like, holy shit. So this one day I'm sitting on the bus and she's like, I'm sitting facing like towards you and she's sitting facing towards me. And so I'm sitting there and then she's just like making faces at me. I'm just trying to ignore her and listen to my music. And she's just like making faces and she's going like this and stuff. And then we get to her stop. And then I look at her and I'm just like looking at her like a smile type of a thing. And she looks at me and she's like, you little boy. What? I'm like, huh? She's like, you're a little boy. And she got up and she walked off. I'm like, this bitch is nuts. And then I went to the GO station and it was this sketchy guy. He was like this he was like African guy. And I'm sitting waiting for my bus to come. And he's walking up and he's like, his eyes are bloodshot. And he goes, do you believe in ghosts? I said, do I believe in ghosts? He's like, yeah. Do you believe in ghosts? I said, yeah. I said, ghosts are probably real. He's like, I seen ghosts. Do you believe me? I'm like, yeah. Why wouldn't I believe you if you've seen a ghost? He's like, I hope you believe me. Promise you believe me. I said, I believe you. He's like, in my house is haunted. I haven't slept in 3 days. I saw the ghost and I left and I haven't been back.
Holy
You believe
shit.
in ghosts? I said, yes, I believe in ghosts. He's like, I hope you believe me. Please believe me. Believe me. I said, I believe you, man. Like, chill out. Like, let's like fuck off at this point. You know what I mean? He's like, I have to go to the washroom, but I'm going to tell you about this ghost when I come back. I'm like, oh, okay, man. And he goes
It never comes
in
back.
the washroom. He comes back, but he doesn't come towards me.
Oh,
He
he
starts
forgot all
talking.
about you?
He's walking by another person. All I hear is, do you believe in ghosts? And I'm like, fuck, this guy is nuts.
What do you think would happen if you said no?
I don't know. He probably would have stabbed me or something. This guy's eyes
You're a
were
ghost now,
bloodshot.
motherfucker.
Yeah, he's like, no, you believe. Oh, fuck. I was like, oh. But yeah, I know Hamilton's very, very scary.
So I knew that. We went there and it was all good. So I listened to so I went and saw Anthony Jeselnik, and so I listened to his podcast this week. It's the last podcast I listen to every week.
Yeah.
It's my favorite. And so usually they just talk about random shit, but he just sometimes talks about his week. Most of the time he just says, yeah, I went here or I did this and I'm this and that. And so he starts talking about come to Canada. He first like whatever.
Oh,
he's tired.
nice.
And so he starts talking about the shows. He's like, yeah, I'm a little tired. I came to Canada. He goes, first of all, like Air Canada fucking sucks.
Yep.
Like he knows, he goes, Canadian people know this. Nobody's going to email us telling us this.
Yep.
And he goes, it was delayed, this and that. And then he complains about getting taxed on his money right away. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like that's a pain in the ass. But he says, but he loves coming to Canada. So he talked about, and I knew this was coming up. So I knew he did a show in London, Ontario, like on the Thursday.
Oh, God.
And then he's doing, but this is like, because it's a huge population. Like Southern
It is.
Ontario is fucking big.
It is.
And so they can make money going to these different, you know what I mean?
For
Like places.
sure,
I can't
but talk
imagine how much
about
he makes a
sketch.
night. What?
Talk about sketchy. London's really up there.
So he goes to London, and well, I'm just like, I don't know what his schedule is. So he goes to London, and I knew he was doing 2 shows on Friday in Hamilton, and then 2 shows in Toronto. Months ago, when we first found out about this, we're on the Just for Laughs festival or whatever, so we get updates whenever comedians are coming to town. I'm like, most of the time I go to Toronto to see the shows, but we're closer to Hamilton.
Yep.
And I was like, fuck, I don't want to waste my whole Saturday going to a show. It's not a waste. It would have been a good time. We would have got to go to the old spaghetti factory.
Yep.
Like, but I'm just like, man, that's a whole day.
It is.
Right?
It's
Like,
a better scene.
It's a better scene. Exactly. All right. And I was like, I don't care about the scene.
Mhm.
Let's just go on Friday to fucking Hamilton. Like it's way more convenient.
Mhm.
I'll come here, do my pod, get drunk, but thank God it was March 1st. Come here, get a buzz on, go to the show, and I go, oh, let's see if Ricky, my buddy from like we see a bunch of shows with him, whatever. It's like, let's see if they want to go. What their plans are. So we told them the options. Like, this is what we do. It's cheaper in Hamilton, just like everything else.
Yeah.
The people and everything. And so we so we lined it up. Said we're gonna do this, right? So we'll go the Friday. I've known this forever. Even fucking Cat Williams will tell you. I can't imagine a late show for Cat Williams. Like the second show is always the worst show.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard when you've worked all week to go to a show on Friday at 7:00. Like you think you do, but you're even tireder and drunker by 9. Like how I put this. The real fans go to the first show because they get the alert. They don't even know if there's a second show.
Yeah.
So the second show, you get a little bit more of the latecomers, a little bit more of the draggers, same people that have been working all week, but they've had 2 more hours to drink, and it makes all the difference in the world. So I was just curious. I would listen to the podcast anyway. So he starts talking about his show. He starts talking about the fucking London show. He goes, and then I get to him. He goes, Toronto went great. He said he went to Massey Hall. He never heard of Massey Hall before.
What?
He compared it to Carnegie. He's from fucking America.
I guess, but okay.
Like what? How do you don't know? What's the name of the fucking greatest concert hall in Cincinnati?
That's Cincinnati. Who cares about Cincinnati?
But it's been around for fucking 200 years, probably.
That's true, but Cincinnati is not Toronto.
Okay, do you know all of them in New York? I just said Carnegie Hall, but do you know all of them in New York?
All of them in New York.
Okay, that's fine, but you're not a performer.
Yes, exactly.
Like, exactly. So anyway,
Come
he does
on,
it.
Jay.
That's how important it is up on the list. Okay, like people don't realize how beautiful our Massey Hall is. But the better, okay, so what's great to hear, again, I have nothing to do with Massey Hall or fucking Toronto or anything. So he goes first he starts with the Toronto shows. He goes, and 2 shows in Toronto, and it was amazing. He goes, I was at this place, Massey Hall. It's like Toronto's Carnegie Hall. He was just at Carnegie Hall in whatever, a few months before. He goes, it's like Carnegie Hall, but with less pretentious employees.
Yeah.
Right? Like they fucking, anything, this and that. And he just like laid a good groundwork, everything was good. He goes, but before that, I was in Hamilton. So he's describing this to the world. He's like, so Hamilton is like an hour outside of Toronto. He goes, and it's a little blue collar. Right? Like that's how you describe. You know what I mean? Like, right. I don't know, whatever. Right? A little blue collar. It's more blue collar. It's only blue collar. That's probably, it's mafia and blue collar.
Yeah.
And meth and welfare. And one-way streets, and so we fucking so he starts saying, so he goes, I tell my opening comedian, like he has an opener, he says, listen, this town has a reputation. Says, so the second show might be a little rough.
Has he been to Hamilton before?
Never heard of Hamilton before in his life.
Really?
He's just going.
But he's done Toronto.
He's done
before.
Toronto lots. I've seen him in Toronto twice before, at least once. But I think I've seen him twice before in Toronto. So Toronto's always on his stop.
Yeah.
Right. Like he's what the show. Like he's like a top notch. He's going to be a Netflix special kind of guy. So he's touring the show that's going to be on Netflix. Mm-hmm. So Toronto's always in the stop. But they supplement their things with places like London and Toronto. Like they make more of their money, like lots of their money doing that kind of thing.
For sure.
So why not? Like maybe he just goes to Cincinnati. I'm sorry, I'm just Cincinnati here, but he probably doesn't go to the Mississauga of Cincinnati or the London of Cincinnati.
True.
But he might go to Cincinnati and Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
Or if he goes to New York, he might do a show Thursday, Friday, Saturday because there's so, you know what I mean? Like you've heard Kevin Hart selling out like Madison Square Gardens or you know what I mean? Like shit like that. So however it works, he was in Hamilton this time. I've seen Bill Burr in Hamilton. Like they do pass by.
They do go.
And so anyway, so he said, so it's a little blue collar, it's little Hampton. And so the second show might be a little rough. You know what I mean? Because he knows that's like how second shows go. And then he starts talking about how great the show that I was at was.
Yeah.
I fucking had the time of my life. I don't know, like, you had edibles, you do, like, you ever realize, like, you're living in this high moment? Like everything was kind of just warm and fuzzy.
Yeah.
Like, I was sitting in my seat, I couldn't feel the seat. Like, I had a beer buzz on, I was seeing everything. Like, everything was just like, is this real? Like, I realized I was high. It was, like, you know what I mean? Like, enjoying it. Like, I wasn't out of the moment. I was just, everything was perfect. And I'm like, is this because I'm so high? Like, everything was just like, I don't know. But the jokes were landing and I was ready to be laughed at. Everything, just like me, everybody was there because they got the earlier result, like our notification that he was coming to the show.
Yeah.
So they're not stragglers. They knew they were there. Most of them, like, there's a lot of fans there. So anyway, so the vibe is great. He's fucking on fire. It was one of the best things. We go out of there, everything's good. The sketchy part was, oh no, so this is him talking, sorry. So he says he goes out there and the crowd was great right from the get-go. He starts talking about like how transformative the experience was. Like in the moment, he realized that this is the type of crowd that elevates his show, right? Like they're so responsive. He goes, in the moment, I'm thinking, because he's taping his special in a month or so in Milwaukee, goes, oh, I wish this was my special right now.
Oh, yeah?
And that's a compliment as an audience member to hear.
That is.
Right? It's like, I thought I got a great performance, and I know I got a great performance. And then he starts talking about the second show. And then he goes, so everything went so great. And he says, so the opener comes to him and says, so are you still worried about the second show? He goes, nah. Man, that went so well. Like, no, there's no way in 2.5 hours that can change. And then he says, and then I go out there. And so he starts talking about, like, he walks out on stage and people are fucking yelling shit and heckling.
What the hell?
They're fucking calling out. Like, I've experienced it at other shows. Like, people heckle for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, my buddy says, it's like me bringing my guitar and amp to a rock show.
Yeah, it's
like, what are
stupid.
you doing? It's so fucking annoying.
It is.
He goes, part of it might have been that they're selling tall boys in the fucking lobby. And they're letting people bring fucking multiple tall boys into the fucking crowd. And like I said, it's 9:30. You know what I mean? Like, I would have been that much more drunker. I would never have done that, but some people in Hamilton might. And so people are going, and he starts describing this scene that just turned into fucking chaos. He starts describing this scene that people were too much, and he tried to deal with it as a professional. You can get a certain way, and he kind of got it back. But there was just one person can you imagine? One person out of 2,500 people.
God.
That could ruin a fucking show.
Yeah, for 2,500 people.
And that's what he feels for.
Yeah.
It's not me. It's like the people that might never see me before.
Yeah.
That aren't going to get the 7 o'clock experience. Right. And so I was loving that I got the 7 o'clock experience.
Nice. Thank God.
I felt fucking so good for myself.
Jeez.
And it's a certain way, but just knowing what Hamilton is and just knowing who was probably doing the thing. But he even said it in this way because he's describing this to the world. It's like this, hour out of Toronto, blue collar, fucking this and that. He goes, and so it's hard to find this person. So they kind of narrow it down. They eventually narrow it down.
Yeah.
But this person just looking the other way when security comes. 10 security people surround this person.
Oh, nice.
Like it just described everything. It just disrupted everything. And then this person got belligerent. They started getting fucking racial. Started getting everything bad about this fucking person. And so he was tweeting about it in a way, like Jesnik was tweeting about it in a way, like, so I had a great fucking first show in Hamilton, and there was a second show. That's what his partner said. That's hilarious. He knew there was a story behind that tweet. And so he started talking about it. And he said, so he found out the commotion from other people, and he somehow saw a picture of this dude. And he said, he goes, I didn't want to put this guy's picture out there. This is a picture. This is him describing. He doesn't know what Hamilton is, but he just got a taste of it.
Yep.
This is an exact picture of somebody who you thought would take 10 security guards to get him out of a show that ruined it for 2,499 other people. Like he thinks like he doesn't want any part of this guy anymore.
Yeah.
Just go and never want to see you again. But it was funny hearing like all that shit happen.
That's cool,
but I could have avoided.
Thank God you avoided it.
I don't know. I would have done it anyway, but I don't know how much of your early rise or influence would have fucking got me for that.
Yeah, I would have been like, "Hey, Jay, what did I tell you? What did I tell you, Jay?"
That's fucking hilarious. I'm sad you're not up to date on Love Is Blind.
I know.
The people are going to be upset that we can't talk about it.
I can't wait. Did you watch the challenge reunion?
So part one of I didn't watch part two. I've watched part one.
Yeah, I'm not a reunion type of a guy.
I'm surprised you brought it up.
Yeah.
I did. I liked it.
Well, I follow Laurel, right?
Yeah.
And she was talking about, she kept saying a whole bunch of stuff about it. And I'm
She
like,
was involved.
fuck.
She was
I'm
involved.
like, fuck. And then she said something about Jay. And I'm like, son of a bitch. I'm like, do I have to watch the reunion? Because I usually never watch reunion.
That's why I wasn't even going to. So have you?
No, I'm gonna try and watch it.
So I can't even watch about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and watch it.
So I can't remember the details of why. There was drama in the fucking first. So it's a 2-part reunion. I have not seen the second part. Just for something to watch, I watched the first part. I can't remember what it exactly entails, but there was something. Nothing I would make you watch for.
Yeah,
but I would have had an answer for whatever you asked.
I would watch just to see Laurel. I love Laurel, man.
Okay, now I'm not.
You're gonna hate on Laurel?
I'm gonna hate on you for a second. I respect Laurel as a competitor, and she's not ugly. She's not that. But she ain't no Melissa. She's not no fucking Nerese.
But that's my attractions to somebody who's really a boss. And when I first started watching the challenge, and she was really in her prime at those times, and she was killing everybody. I'm like, oh, it was I liked her and Zach. And then Jenna came along, and I liked Jenna. I'm like, holy, like these girls are really on this show, really kill it. I never liked Cara Maria because there's a lot of drama around her.
Okay, I see why you would like Jenna better than Cara Maria, but Jenna is not a boss compared to Cara Maria.
No, but
she has to look decent enough.
Good luck beating her, though.
Ooh, Jenna?
Yeah. She won a lot of challenge. She was very
better than she looked.
You thought you could beat her, and you can't.
True.
You know what I mean?
Okay,
so
like that.
She's not a Cara Maria. Cara Maria is up there in terms of
But you don't think you can beat her. She looks like you shouldn't beat her. Jenna looks like you should beat her. And Cara Maria, you think you're dead no matter what.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Cara Maria has the look. Jenna doesn't have the look.
I expect Cara Maria to win, and sometimes she doesn't. But Jenna, like, she always surprises you. And Ashley's another one of those. Like, I really liked Ashley too. What did she call her?
Millionaire Mitchell.
Millionaire Mitchell. Like, I really liked her. Like,
I do too.
I like people who are tough to beat and they just don't look. That's why I like Nerisse so much. She's gorgeous, but like, you never expect her to be as good as she is.
And Jenna's got that quality to her too. Yeah, like, I like Melissa's like attitude and her accent, and she's gorgeous.
Yeah,
that helps. That's why that Colleen chick was like under the radar, because she's pretty and fucking got there.
Yeah.
She's like European, so she's weird to us. We just don't totally get her. Same with like Emmanuel. So I'm going to give you this. The one spoiler alert I'll give you in the fucking reunion, and this has nothing to do with tea spilling or anything like that. You remember the finals. You remember that Emmanuel won.
Yeah.
Before I get there, you know what this is Tammy's criticism. I'm taking it from her that I'm going to put out there. That what sucks about the challenge is that when they're doing a challenge, the people in the peanut gallery get to help the people doing the challenge.
Yeah, that's annoying.
That they shouldn't do that. That delegitimizes. That's not the word, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
That gets it. It's not real. Emmanuel cheated the Sudoku. Do you remember that he didn't fucking get it right away? He was the first to the final challenges. Right, like at the they ran the final, and then there was like a Sudoku and this and that. There's 4 or 5 different puzzles. He started the Sudoku and then he came back to it, and then he on the challenge or in the reunion they accused him of cheating, just copying somebody else's, and he basically admitted it.
Yeah,
that's bullshit.
It is bullshit.
It's not. I'm blaming the entity of the challenge for letting that happen.
That is one, like when I explain the challenge to some people, I always say like there are rules, but outside of the rules that are stated, you can basically do what you want. If you don't violate the rules that TJ says, you can do what you want.
But why would so Nerisse would have won if he didn't get to fucking cheat?
She would have, but that's just that you can't pick and choose when you like.
You should have just put blinders. All you gotta do is just put a divider.
They should have, but
I'm not blaming Emmanuel.
No, I know, but I'm saying like they know that people will do that and they don't care, which is why. I guess in the Sudoku game it was different, but which is why people have a habit of tearing down their puzzles when they're done, right? Because they know that you make the mistake of leaving it there, that person you can give somebody else an edge, or you're working beside each other, then you can work together. They don't say don't work together, right?
Listen, I get that, but not okay. If there's compared to either being able to cheat like that and getting to work together, I want no working together. I want the individual. I think it's delegitimized.
I agree that it's delegitimized, but you know, it's not really cheating if it's not against the rules.
It's not turning me off the whole thing. I'm not turning me off. It's one of my pet peeves.
It's mine too. I'm on your side. I'm just saying the rules are just this. I can't stand it sometimes. But.
Well, that was one of the things I got out of the fucking reunion was like, we knew it. We knew he fucking like, I never even thought of it. It's just like, okay, he won, he did that. But Tammy was like, how the fuck did he finish that so fast?
It would have been a way better storyline if Nerisse finished. Emmanuel wasn't a shit competitor. So that's why I don't really, like, I get it.
He wasn't as tested as her.
He wasn't as tested as her, but I see in last season, he was still considered a competitor. This season, he's still considered it's not like he was a scrub like Josh.
No. And Josh wants to win as much too, but no, Emmanuel has it more. You know what actually gives me, I think I have like a certain feeling about it or whatever. I honestly, to my core, just like we talk like in sports, I think that there has to be like a men's and women's division. Like you can't have men playing tennis with women or basketball or this and that. Like it might get closer and there's examples of where you could do it or whatever.
Yeah.
But the challenge is the only one that doesn't separate it.
I kind of like it.
Me too. I really do. So when she gets ripped off
It sucks.
it makes it feel worse.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that's part of it.
Yeah.
Like, if she was Berna, I probably wouldn't care.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm not standing up for all
Fuck
women's
Berna.
rights,
Fuck
just the
Berna.
pretty women's. But, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the fuck. Like, I don't know if that's part of it.
Yeah.
And, like, how do you know what I mean? You make everything that legit. And
So
then
let me ask you, did anybody hate on Emmanuel for doing that?
No.
Nobody
Yes,
did?
no. That's how I know.
Oh, so people hated on him.
Yeah, so imagine if you and I don't think it's legit. Imagine what Laurel thinks it is.
Oh, so she went in on
I don't
him?
know. I'm just guessing. What do you think fucking CT or Bananas would think of somebody that has
Because
to cheat?
those guys are like, but it's not cheating because they've done shady
True.
things.
No. But what? It's ammo. It doesn't matter if I would.
I know,
You didn't really do it.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're
Like
right.
you call yourself a champ,
Yeah.
but you couldn't do Sudoku.
Yeah,
You had to cheat off their Sudoku.
yeah.
So
that's
you're not
true.
going to let them get away with it.
Yeah,
Like you call other people's bullshit. You don't say yours. But that's the thing. Like,
Yeah.
you're right. They do have those things. Everybody that we're talking about has benefited from the peanut gallery telling them how to do the puzzle. I just, as my favorite competition show, I see the flaw in how they do it.
yeah. I think when it comes to certain things, it's mano y mano. Is that what they say?
Something like that. Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
The kissing disease.
Yeah.
They have that. So that's the only thing I got out of the reunion.
Nice.
But I don't. It hasn't made me want to watch part 2.
I would love to hear Laurel go off on people. So I am, and she's a legitimate champ. So
No, she gets to call her shots. So on TV.
one thing before we get off of that,
Yeah.
Nerese tweeted that she's not going to do a challenge for a while.
That's stupid.
I know. I was
What
like,
the
what
fuck?
the hell? I don't know. She's like,
The only thing I saw her tweet was she was fucking a selfie with her and Horatio.
oh, I never saw that.
Yeah, I saw that a few weeks ago.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was, I think, when Horatio got kicked off.
I'm happy for them.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, he needs some of her edge.
Yeah.
And
yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
He can be fierce
he'll
if he
benefit from
gets some
that.
shit,
And
yeah.
she just deserves a nice guy. Seems like a nice enough guy.
Yeah, too nice.
Probably not as nice as he comes across.
You
You know what I mean? How could you fucking be?
Is anybody?
So speaking of like coming across on TV, did you watch any of Canadian Big Brother yet?
No.
It started like on Tuesday or Sunday. Yeah, so
Okay.
there's been a couple episodes. I guess this is the fucking end of the show. You keep fucking putting me up against a brick wall when it gets to fucking the TV. I got no more work fucking talk.
All the work is done.
You got no fucking TV. So anyway, I'm happy that that's fucking started.
Yeah.
The only this. So I've never been. I was a big UFC fan when it first came out. Like Ultimate Fighting was like amazing when it came out, and I couldn't
Yeah.
believe it. It was like big guys fighting little guys. It was. I don't love violence as much as you might think I would. You know what I mean? Like it's not. I don't like violence for the sake of violence.
You like football, you like UFC, you like
I do like hockey fights.
You
I do,
like
no. I
hockey.
kind of. So UFC is where I draw the line. I'm not a huge fan.
Okay.
Like I like football because of the hype of the NFL, right?
Yeah.
And I don't give the CFL the much of the thing. If like Conor McGregor is on the hype machine, I want to see that fight.
Yeah.
John St. Pierre, whatever, George St. Pierre, like, oh, that's interesting. But like watching guys wrestle around and watching arms break, watching noses bleed.
I hate that.
No, I don't get a joy out of it. I
Yeah.
have to avert my eyes.
Yeah,
Football
me too.
injuries, I avert my eyes. And so I see that, but I love the WWF aspect. You know what I mean? Like me fucking, like Nate Diaz, fucking phenomenal.
Yep.
And so I kind of every now and pick and choose my fights. This and that. When they introduced this fucking Tyson Jake Paul fight,
Yep.
like I am on board.
Oh, for sure.
I
And
can't-
it's on Netflix.
So listen, man. Who is better? Like I've not nothing about Jake Paul. I just know him as an internet person. You show me the fucking podcast studio. That was the most impressive thing I've heard about this kid until this week.
Yeah.
To be on Netflix for a fight. Like Oscar De La Hoya, Don King, they're fucking jealous
Oh,
of
for
what this
sure.
kid accomplished.
For sure.
I'm impressed
He
that this fight
carved a
happens.
lane of celebrity names that we know and fighting them.
And being decent at it. He's no
a
chump.
decent-
He's a big boy.
for
He's
sure.
a big
He's
fucking kid, man.
Decent thing, but
It's like the niche. You nail it. The niche that
Yeah.
he's nailed for him.
which is
And
a
we all want to see
mass
it.
grab.
We
Yeah,
watched
it's
fucking
crazy.
Screech fight fucking Chachi on fucking like Fox, you know,
Yeah.
celebrity boxing.
Yeah.
And so I really like Mike Tyson. I'm not
Yeah.
standing up for everything Mike Tyson's probably done or this and that or who he is, but he's thoughtful. He comes across, it's not the same, you know what I mean? Like it's, you really have to Like, you can not like him, it's fine.
I love Mike Tyson.
But he's got something about him. You know what I mean? Like, he has moments of pure thoughtfulness.
Yeah.
And he comes across in moments that can be really good. And because I kind of like this violence part, he's a fucking amazing boxer.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's never been anything in my lifetime. There's never been anything like Mike Tyson. I've followed him when he was around. Roy Jones Jr. was my probably second favorite boxer.
Oh, he was great.
Because he had the charisma and he had the fucking shit behind it. He had everything that went to being a good boxer.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, obviously Muhammad Ali and Sugar Ray Leonard, shit like that. That's needs me to bring into the game. And Mike Tyson just had this fucking aura and this scariness to him. And this version of Mike Tyson, like the Hangover version, the fucking hot boxing with Mike Tyson, I have nothing wrong with that either.
Yeah.
Like, he fucking just like this new love of Cat Williams I have. Like, it's like, holy shit, Mike Tyson, like, fucking say the truth, whatever you know. So I want Mike Tyson to I want Mike Tyson to beat the shit out of this kid so much.
Would this be his first loss?
Tyson's?
No.
Oh, Jake Paul, probably.
Yeah, I think it would be his first loss.
So I'm not saying he's going to lose for sure. My instinct is like how perfect is 57-year-old.
That's the thing, right?
27-year-old.
And that's a lot of criticism he's got. Like, people always criticize him for going against these older guys and like these retired guys and stuff. Like, he's not going against freaking Tyson Fury and freaking Deontay Wilder and stuff. He's not going against them because obviously I don't think he can beat them.
True.
Somebody who's really boxing.
The best boxer in the world.
For sure. But, I mean, it's Mike Tyson, right?
It handicaps it, right? Like, yes, I can't fight 27-year-old Mike Tyson.
Oh, no. But
57-year-old.
I hope he doesn't hit as hard as he does.
So, have you seen 57-year-old Mike Tyson?
I've seen
the fucking pit bull.
Good luck with that.
He's a fuck. I don't think there's nothing. Obviously, there's some slipping.
Yes,
but he's a machine.
For sure.
Like, he's been on Rogan a couple times, and one of the scariest things Rogan's kind of talked about in a way, it was just like the way he describes how fighting made him feel. Like, even training, he had to describe, like, I can't even train. Yeah. Like, I turn into, I'm going to miss words, but like an egomaniac.
Yeah.
And that egomaniac makes me have to win. Makes me want to bite your fucking ear off.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it turns him into this animal that we can be a little disgusted if we want, but we can't wait to see. Mm-hmm. Like, we have to see. I'm not condoning biting ears off and everything else, but as a fighter, as a pure boxer, like, that's like that animal. Like, I don't, there's no room for anything else if you want to be the best. That hasn't gone. Like, it's gone a little bit because he doesn't do it for a living.
Yeah. But
there was bring up Roy Jones. There was like an exhibition fight between Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. like a few years ago and whatever. And it was just a fucking little lollipop fest.
Yeah.
But there was a couple shots in there. Tyson hated that it was a lollipop fest. In the interviews after, like, it was just like, he didn't think it was going to be something else, but just like, I'm not here to Fisher Price this. You know what I mean? Like, I need to take so he gets to take the training wheels off.
Yeah.
He gets to live in the hype machine. Unless you think it's fixed and all this shit, I'm not. I'm thinking Tyson loves this opportunity more than this Jake Paul kid does.
I hope so, because I hope Jake Paul actually gets hit. I really do. Jake Paul's grown on me because I never liked him. So I seen him from the YouTube days from the beginning when he was scrawny and with him and his brother doing all the bullshit. It just felt like such a force to try and be famous. Like, that's what it felt like they were doing. But when he started the boxing thing, I was like, this fucking guy, here's another one of his schemes. But as I see him actually taking not so much who he's fighting serious, even though he does, because he doesn't have a lifetime of boxing. Like, these guys train from they're young.
Yeah.
But the business of it and everything, he's grown on me a little more that how intentional he's being with anything. It's not like, it's not like, and it's not easy to train to do this kind of stuff and to gain the amount of weight, muscle, and to be as dedicated to do this thing. So he's grown on me a little bit. I still want to see him get punched in the face.
You go from, I'm just putting words in your mouth, I feel, you go from being annoyed at the striving for fame's sake, to realizing that's a thing now.
Yeah.
Like, we're doing a podcast, you know what I mean? Like, it's a thing we can't appreciate. And you can't hate somebody who's just because they're good at it. Yeah. So I appreciate that you're saying that like that. And it's weird. It's just like this boxing thing it's better than him. Like, I appreciate it. Like, it's a lane. It's weird. It's like, well, why would you? Who am I to criticize whatever lane you pick?
Yeah.
And so the dedication part, the the beginning, what you're saying is like there's some kind of which is gross to watch. There's a dedication for you just to be famous.
Yeah,
and I don't want to watch that.
No.
Like I like other people. It's kind of gross, but you go long enough at it, you get your fan base, then that gives you the privilege to do this.
Absolutely.
And so you nailed it with this lane carving thing. And so realizing that like boxing promotion is promotion first.
Yes.
Right? Like
and it's been like that.
And that's how you know what I mean? That's what he did as a YouTuber.
Yeah.
So he nailed the promotion first. And yes, okay, so now I can't just be screech boxing and fucking on Fox. I have to actually gain 50 pounds of muscle. You just talked how hard it is for fucking 5. So you really appreciate, you know what I mean? Like doing that.
Yeah.
So you just don't see this. So you don't want to give credit to some arrogant little fuck. You don't want to, but you want to recognize like you didn't just do this. You did this yourself.
Yeah.
But I agree. Like, listen, only because, I don't want him any kind of upcomings. I don't think he needs to be punched in the nose just for the sake of it. But
I do.
No, because I want it for Tyson more than him. I want Tyson to let that animal out in the boxing ring again.
Yeah.
I want, like, you know what I mean? Like, you get one life at this. You know what I mean? Like, he was the best boxer in the world. Nobody gets to be the best boxer in the world at 57 anymore. Mm-hmm. But nobody's going to be watching more of a boxing fight than on fucking Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's going to be the biggest
huge.
boxing match in the world.
It's huge.
He put himself in there, and Tyson, so I just want him to fucking handle it up. I don't know if I'd be more upset if it ends in 21 seconds like his other fights used to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what's better? Him fucking dragging him out for 10 rounds so we get to watch the thing? Or Tyson just like, oh my God, he's just
laying him out in 20 seconds. That would be amazing. It's not like I'm buying it on pay-per-view. I'm logging into my Netflix account. You lay him out in 20 seconds, that would be an actual moment. And if Jake Paul is smart, he'll throw that shit.
So that's the problem. That shit. My fucking stupid fucking Twitter algorithm is already put that in the fucking sphere. Yeah, of course they're gonna fucking throw it. Of course they're gonna fix it.
Would you, if you were like in Jake Paul's situation, are you going out or you throwing that shit for the money?
No, know what I'm doing. Know what I don't know about that. My hanging my hat part on is that Tyson can't help himself to go in. Like, Tyson is not part of a fixed fight.
You don't think so? Not this age.
Tyson's tried to talk so much truth. Tyson does not need the money.
Thing.
Tyson has a weed farm. Tyson's doing quite all right for himself.
He's doing great.
He's even like, his podcast. Everything is good for him.
Everything is good.
The thing about this is like why I tried to tell you with on Rogan. Like, I can't just skip rope to fucking not be fat. Like, we've seen fatter versions of Tyson. Like, he has to do something to not be fat. Like, you know what I mean? Like, all these things. But training brings out this animal. Mm-hmm. He's born to punch people out in the face for 20 seconds.
Well, how much of that is promotion at this stage in his life?
You don't bite an ear off for promotion.
But that was how long ago?
I get it, but you listen to him talk.
He's talked. He said he's a different person.
He is. But unless then you try to do an exhibition match with fucking Roy Jones Jr. And you put the gloves on, and you realize, there's something else out there. And so yes, he's not going to go fight. Tyson's not stupid enough. Maybe he wants to. I could fight Tyson Fury. Like, you know what I mean? This is how long ago people are fighting with his namesake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, people, like, he's an old man. He's 57. It's such an aberration of what's happened before. No 57, Larry Holmes, they couldn't keep themselves in this kind of shape to do this. Mm-hmm. And they were different men. They didn't have the demons, I think, that Tyson has. Mm-hmm. So I think that Jake Paul, this is why I hope this is as a viewer, it's like, oh, it's all fun, it's all promotion, it's all this. Oh, who's next? Okay, Nate Diaz is an animal. Like, you know enough of UFC to go, this is a bad boy of UFC. Yep. He's got the gas tank of a fucking machine. You know what I mean? Like, he's one of the ones that beat Conor McGregor, you know what I mean? Like, he's no joke either, and he fucking schools him in a way.
Yeah.
I think that Tyson is the fucking brick wall. I don't think Tyson, you know what I mean? Like, maybe unless Tyson can't take a punch and he can get in there, but I don't think Tyson cannot, like I said, I think
I hope.
Animal.
I
think
really
Tyson,
hope.
I think so in a way what I'm getting around is that the Paul guy isn't this a great promotion more thing? And just like Tyson's like, I just can't wait to get in there.
I hope so.
That's funny.
I hope it's a legit fight and there's none of that around it.
It's crazy how much I wanted to see this, and I didn't know about it fucking 4 days ago.
Oh,
it's funny, man.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Well, you spared the people the rest of our work stuff. It's not as bad as I was talking about it before. Yeah. I'm gonna stop trying to complain to you. No. I don't think I even complained this part. You weren't even complaining. You know what? You were asking for some advice, and to sum it up, and I might have done in the beginning, is just like, you've taken on your employees in a version of like they're your kids. You know what I mean? Like you're building your kids as leaders, and you're building Booby as a leader, and it doesn't come without hiccups.
Yeah.
You get to smack the kids around. You can't. Well, maybe it'd be fun to watch you smack Booby around.
Smack him around. Yeah.
Yeah.
I might have to one day. He pisses me off sometimes.
But listen, I appreciate the conversations that you told me that you guys have had.
Yeah.
And I think like by third, like I think it's getting better. I do think your little slip-ons to Ryan there have gone in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't really know.
We'll see. We'll see when you're training people. Oh, I got to tell you about Kyle or Zach.
Yeah. The fish is gone.
Yesterday was his last day.
R.I.P.
And he left early.
Yep.
He informed me that he's leaving early and that it will be his last day. And I said, well, all right, I hope it works out for you. He's like, you think they'll ever have me back? I said,
what?
I said, bro.
Why are you kidding me?
He's like, I kind of think they're pissed off at me. I said, honestly, they felt like they gave you a chance. It wasn't a punishment to come to this shift. And I felt like they gave you a chance and they just feel like you kind of slapped them in the face.
You said that to him?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's like, yeah, I know. You're kind of right. Because I didn't think I was going to like this shift as much as I did. So he started looking for a job when they told him he was going on this shift. And then he accepted the job like the Tuesday or the Wednesday after he started the shift.
And he only worked a day before he did it. He didn't know how good it would be.
And by the end of the week, he was already telling me like, this shift is way better. He's like, these guys talk so much shit. You guys bust your ass. Like you guys work so hard. Then you guys clean up after. He was like talking all this stuff. He's like, yo, these guys on day shift, I don't know how much you guys talk, but I assume when I say this, I assume most of this comes from Tariq because he's the one closest to that area and he's always talking to people. Right. But he's like, you guys work way harder. Like actually work way harder. I know. And so I'm like, yeah, you said to me when you wanted to come on day shift that it's going to be easier. And I told you it's not easier on this shift. It's not easier. He's like, yeah, it was good. He's like, if I come back, I'm definitely trying to come to the afternoon. So I said,
do you think
I ain't having you, bro? No.
Do you feel so maybe you didn't want to do this? Did you think you could have just convinced him to fuck the other job?
I probably could have if I really, yeah.
Did you want to? Did part of you want to?
Part of me did because he actually did pretty good. After he started to settle in, I started to see like who he really was. Like he's not like the greatest. He's not the fastest, but he's not a guy you have to babysit. I don't know if Marcel was babysitting him a lot or not enough.
That's interesting. I get it.
Like I would be like, Zach, okay, I need you to do this and this. He's like, okay, how do I do this? I say, you do this. You can handle this? He's like, yeah, I got this. And then he would do it. And I'm like, holy shit, like this guy, he's not fucking around. It's not like he's sitting in the bathroom. I don't know if he was doing that on day shift, but he's not fucking in the bathroom. He would go, he would work. If he fucked something up, he'd be like, I kind of fucked up this. And I say, oh, no big deal. We'll just do this. I would help him fix it. And then I say, okay, you got this. And he would just do it. And that's the kind of guys that I respect more. You don't even have to be the best at your job, but the fact that you're trying and improving makes it way easier and way better.
See, that's why I think I would have been able to be fine with him in my initial talk about this. But that's everybody's stupid. You have to start with you thinking everybody's stupid and let them surprise you that they're not.
Yeah.
So the problem is, you and I both know it would have been better off for him. Maybe he'll do the best thing that ever happened to him, but other than not knowing what he's going into, he would have been better off staying here. He would an established place. He's already worked, already established knowledge, not learning new things.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't as far gone, you know what I mean, as like Marcel would have had you think or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Like he just needed that bit of guidance. Like I recognize that. That's why I said that. Like, most of it before you came around, I could ignore that in people. Mm-hmm. Not that you need it, but you recognizing that I can help people like that. Yeah. I can't wait to get back to a feeling that I don't have to do that anymore. Fuck you. Thank God he's gone.
I want to thank everyone for listening to the Work Related Podcast.
R.I.P. Kyle. We are related by work on Twitter. That's fire.
That's X.
Fuck you. All right, we'll see you guys next week.